throws here a big, big bomb. The Alter Rebbe explains in Likutei Torah as follows. To be in Gan Eden means that I will be able to find myself in Hashem. I'll appreciate God. I'll enjoy Him. Nene miziv hashchina. From the radiance of the Shechina, I'm going to have tremendous enjoyment. What happens if I come into contact with Atzmos? There's no I. There's no I. In Gan Eden, there's an I. You know why there's an I? Because Gan Eden is godliness that's filtered. The ziv, it's the glimmer of the Shechina. You can enjoy it. Atzmos, I can't enjoy. You know why I can't enjoy? Because I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be one. I'm going to be subsumed in Atzmos. Which one do you want? Do you want to be in a space where you can enjoy truth? Or do you want to be in a place of truth? That's the question I want to ask everybody here. Could you answer me this question? Now, this is the biggest question in Yiddishkeit. And if you could understand this question, you'll understand the Nekuda of Chassidus. Some of you are learning Chassidus with me 5-6 years. Now you're getting to the Nekuda of Chassidus. Okay, this is it, this paragraph in the Maimer. Here's the question. Do you want to be in a place where you can enjoy the truth? Or do you want to be in a place of truth where there's no I anymore to enjoy the truth? Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Do you want to be in a place of Ziv HaShechina where I can say, wow, 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 moidedik, 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 ah. Or do I want to be in a place where there's complete truth, so there's no I? There's no I. There's no separateness. I won't be able to write you a letter about it. I won't be able to pick up my hands and scream. Oh no, I won't. I won't be able to close my eyes and jump. It's just emes. Which one do you want? Anybody wants to answer? So the Alter Rebbe says that there's a person who says, I want to find myself in God. I don't want to lose myself in Hashem. Sorry. I want to be able to be there. I want to be able to watch the show. Nene miziv hashchina. The Alter Rebbe calls it legarmei. That's called self-centered. Now, this is not regular self-centered. This is a helika self-centered. I want to be able to be one with God. Nish gefährlich. But for the Alter Rebbe, it was self-centered. That's why Chassidus touches you so deeply. Because when you learn Chassidus, you learn the Alter Rebbe's Maimonim, you learn the Rebbe's Maimonim, suddenly you see what the real experience of oneness is. The real experience of oneness is they were ready to give up everything, including the experience of oneness. And the Jewish soul craves for that, because everything else is spiritual trauma. It's holy trauma. It's holy trauma. It's the trauma of Gan Eden, mit Olam Haba, mit Shtalshlus, mit Tzvidus. It's trauma that God made, but you can get stuck. And by the Alter Rebbe, Gan Eden is a channel. Don't get stuck. You walk through the rooms of the palace because everything has to become part of the Melech. Don't get stuck anywhere. Don't worship anything else. Ano Nosiv Malka. Comes the Rebbe and says, here comes the big bomb. He says, when a Jew chooses Gan Eden over Atzmos, why? How could you compare? Gan Eden relative to Atzmos is just a minuscule glimmer. The reason is because I want me. I want to be there. You know what happens? After many, 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 many levels, from here comes the ability that a person should choose Klippa over Kedusha. From the ultimate spiritual self-centeredness can come brute self-centeredness. Because ultimately, I'm not looking for the real emes. So the two pirushim are connected. Your typhus, sometimes the most subtle, this is how it works in psychology, and everybody knows this. This is the real truth. The worst distortions in life originate in very subtle distortions. So the Rebbe says, the whole idea that you could choose Klippa, which is death, over Kedusha, is why? Because I'm thinking about me. I want, and Klippa gives much more and much better and much easier. Where does that come from? If you trace it back millions and millions and billions and trillions of levels, it comes from, I want Gan Eden instead of Atzmos. And from that subtle distortion in Kedusha, after many, many levels, there could be the person who says, give me Klippa, not Kedusha. Why? Because I want a big flow. Yes, by the first person, it's spiritual. I want Ruchnius, I want Gan Eden, I want Olam Haba, I want Ziv HaShechina, but I want Ziv HaShechina. And by this person is, I want whatever Klippa gives me. But it's the same point. I didn't go out of the orbit of self. Now that's very, very heavy. You hear what the Rebbe is saying here. He's connecting the highest level of spiritual distortion with the lowest levels of brute distortion. So in the Maimer, all the interpretations of Anon Nasiv Malka are connected. What really prevents a person from falling prey to Klippa is that your taifas, that the ultimate emes is oneness with Atzmos. That's what your soul wants. Chelki Hashem Amira Nafshi. Anon Nasiv Malka. And then he adds one more point. We remember there was another component that we explained in Seif Gimel, that the mistake of the early idolaters was that they felt that God delegated the running of the universe to the stars, to the galaxies, or at least he gave them choice, like a waiter in the restaurant. So the Rebbe says that mistake also is rooted in the spiritual desire for Gan Eden. Why do I want Gan Eden and not Atzmos? Ultimately, it means that I'm giving prominence to something outside of Hashem himself. Gan Eden is not just a channel for Hashem. It becomes something self-contained. I'm giving significance to something outside of Atzmos. So after many, many evolutions, after a long series of evolutions, ultimately it allows for the distortion that I can give prominence to the forces of nature, to the forces of the world, to believe that they have their own choice, to believe even that they are the ones who run the show, chas v'shalom. It becomes from where? Ultimately, in a very, very subtle way, from the fact that I believe that there's something outside of Atzmos that has some significance. And that's what he's saying. Anon Nasiv Malka means there's only the Melech. Everything else is just part of the Melech, an extension of the Melech. It's a preparation for the Melech. Don't get stuck in the other chambers. The other chambers are just expressions of the king. Don't get stuck in anything but the Melech. Ein oid milvadoi. That's the essence. And the moment I do, so this, the Rebbe is saying, is two elements. One element is I choose Gan Eden over Atzmos. Why? Because I'm thinking about me, and that ultimately can cause, after many, many, many levels, that I should fall into Klippa. On another level, I'm giving some significance to something outside of Atzmos, for example, Gan Eden, and that ultimately allows me to fall prey to the idea that there's some force in reality outside of Hashem himself. And he says furthermore, even when you want Gan Eden because it's your Gan Eden, dein Gan Eden, this can also lead, after many, many distortions, to the ultimate mistake, that there's Avodah Zarah. That Avodah Zarah is significant. Why? Because remember, those who say God is Elikad Elikaya, the God of gods, they're not saying that Avodah Zarah is the boss. They're saying that their power to run the world is because Hashem gave it to them. So in a very subtle way, it's like Dein Gan Eden. Ultimately, Hashem gave them the power. God gave nature the power. It's not nature on its own. So on a very, very subtle way, it comes from Dein Gan Eden. Just like Dein Gan Eden means. Gan Eden reflects you. So after many, many, many levels, what does it come down to? That ultimately I can give room for anything in the world outside of Hashem himself, believing that Hashem gave you the power, and therefore I also give you the power. in order to exclude, in order to go away from any form of blockage, any form of trauma, any form of something that takes you away from the true oneness with infinity, it's only when you can find within yourself, and he says, the Rebbe says, everyone could find this in themselves, that the truth of your soul is, I don't want even dein Gan Eden, dich allein, only you, Anan Asev Malka.